Welcome to Planet Keza, where the financial security is strong. Sabrina, I'm your host, we learn all day and all night. Your money, business, investing, it's our family culture. Come and join the fun, empower yourself. Use yourself in my knowledge, let the information take control. I'm Planet Keza, where your financial rights are always those. Learn like there's no tomorrow. Feel the energy inside. We're the YKza.com nation. Let's groove and vibe. Groove and vibe.
In every heart, regardless of culture or birthplace, lies a deep yearning to prosper and be independent. Ou vleransouf epi, ou dwe an sécurité financière.
I now have a long-term financial plan.
Les soucis d'argent sont réels, mais je me ressource pour moi et ma famille.
Nunca acreditamos que poderíamos reconstruir o nosso legado, mas agora podemos.
Surayatu inayofuata imeanza.
What I teach my son, I teach my son's son.
From the African diaspora and across America, discover the power of Wikiza.
Sika kora bea ne sika awode beto mo yewa mamere.
Sika merehia me homono soba me mpotam hofosum fasar.
Non lanui mum sunukir.
Build lifetimes of financial security.
Wekeza.
Wikiza.
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 Wikiza. We speak your language. Wikiza. Connecting communities, building financial futures. Join us now.
What if I told you your child could become an educated consumer, investor, entrepreneur, and a philanthropist, all from the comfort of your laptop or mobile phone?
And could learn how to manage one of the world's most powerful currencies, money.
It's true. I'm Sienna.
And I'm Dante, and we are both World of Money Youth Board members.
I know firsthand how life-changing it is to be financially capable. When I was 11, my parents enrolled me and my siblings in the World of Money Institute, where I learned how to budget, invest, and donate my money.
I first attended World of Money when I was 12, and now, like us, over 5,000 young people globally and growing. Your child also can become financially educated with the World of Money online course.
This award-winning financial education program is tailored for ages 7 through 21. Our course provides 160 self-guided lessons, videos, activities, quizzes, live homerooms, and scheduled town halls.
During the course, your child will learn about budgeting and saving, compound interest, artificial intelligence, and so much more.
Give your child the foundation for their financial security and generational wealth. Register for the World of Money online course today.
TheWorldOfMoney.org.
Developing financially responsible adults,
one child at a time.
In every heart, regardless of culture or birthplace, lies a deep yearning to prosper and be independent. Ou vleransouf epi, ou dwe an sécurité financière.
I now have a long-term financial plan.
Les soucis d'argent sont réels, mais je me ressource pour moi et ma famille.
Nunca acreditamos que poderíamos reconstruir o nosso legado, mas agora podemos.
Surayatu inayofuata imeanza.
What I teach my son, I teach my son's son.
From the African diaspora and across America, discover the power of Wikiza.
Sika kora bea ne sika awode beto mo yewa mamere.
Sika merehia me homono soba me mpotam hofosum fasar.
Non lanui mum sunukir.
Build lifetimes of financial security.
Wekeza.
Wikiza.
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 Wikiza. We speak your language. Wikiza. Connecting communities, building financial futures. Join us now.
And hello, I'm Sabrina Lamb, the founder and CEO of Wekeza, which means save and invest in Swahili. We provide multilingual financial education and global access to investing in U.S. stocks as well as ETFs here in the United States, as well as 7 African countries. With Planet Wekeza, we bring to you financial experts to provide you with not only their story, their financial wisdom, but to also give you the financial playbook as it is, so that you can apply it to your life and hit the reset button on your financial goals. Now more than ever, our economic liberty is paramount. So today, I'm joined by Walter Stith, a former NFL professional athlete and financial advisor. He's going to turn his professional experience in the NFL, and he has done so in real world athletic or a wealth rather playbook, from busting the financial myths to make it how to leverage your first the first three windfall in your life, to spot those red and green flags that you maybe confront on a regular basis, and to simplify this information, because sometimes we feel that this is something that we'll never be able to wrestle with. So welcome to Planet Wakeza, Walter Stith.
Thank you, Sabrina. Glad to be here.
So first, let's do some true and false. Let's have a little fun here. True and false. A financial advisor and a financial planner are the exact same level of expertise.
That is false. I would say that a financial advisor and a financial planner can be one and the same, right? But they are two totally separate persons, and they handle two different jobs. Financial advisor, somebody who's typically registered with the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, as well as the SEC or another regulatory body. They can work independent, or they can work for a firm such as a bank or brokerage. And a financial advisor being registered helps his clients with, investment decisions, retirement planning, portfolio construction and management. A planner is someone who helps with like comprehensive planning, coming up with a wealth plan, wealth strategy. They can also be registered as a certified financial planner, a CFP, with the CFP board. So they have registrations as well. But they work together and in tandem, and a financial advisor can be a CFP and vice versa.
What kind of well, wait a minute, Walter. Are you saying the people on YouTube giving out financial advice that they're not legally regulated or ethically have the ability to do so from a legal and regulatory standpoint? I mean, if I'm telling you to invest in any company, any publicly traded company, and recommending that all to you, am I able to do that as an average citizen?
No, you need to be registered with a regulatory body, because there are consequences that come with taking advice and giving advice, right? So, as a financial advisor, when I'm giving advice to my clients, I understand their particular situation. I understand their risk tolerance as an investor, and I'm recommending things that will help them to reach their specific goals. In terms of people giving advice on YouTube or on social media, yes, they could be registered, right? And if you want to check that out, you can go to brokercheck.com to see what type of licenses they have. And you can reach that and put their name in. If they're with the firm, all of their information should come up. Great
website, broker, that's BROKERCHEK.com, right?
No, brokercheck, CHECK. Broker check.
Oh, it's a folder. Okay, check. Okay, CHCK.com. Here's another true or false question. There's no real difference between rich and wealthy. It's one and the same, right?
Well, it depends on how you define each of them, right? But if we're talking about wealth, I would define wealth as having the financial freedom to live the life that you want to live, and also to pass along wealth to the next generation, to your children, to their kids. Rich could be defined as the possession of having a lot of something. If we're talking about finances, yes, you could be rich with money, but I think being rich may last you during your lifetime, and being wealthy will last beyond your lifetime.
So, Walter, when you were playing in the NFL, what percentage would you designate as many of your teammates being financially educated? What percentage? 80% once they receive that windfall of money? What percentage did you notice or observe that they were financially educated?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I didn't put a survey out to find that out, right? So, just like any environment, everyone, comes from different backgrounds and has their own level of understanding with finances. There, 100, there are 53 players on the team, right? And then there's an extended roster of another 10 to 15 guys. So you could have 75 players on a team that come from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life. I had many colleagues who were finance majors and econ majors, because you can't go to the NFL without having gone to college. So I really couldn't put a number on what percentage had, a sufficient amount of financial literacy and understanding to make good decisions, or against those who, had no clue at all. And, when I was playing, I was in the early 2000s, 2005, 2006. And so, a lot of things have changed in college football where, when I was playing, we weren't able to get paid in college. And now athletes are able to get paid in college. So they're learning about financial literacy, about financial planning at a very young age, because they're starting to receive income sooner.
Mm-hmm. So let's say
I would argue that a larger number now are aware than when I played, because again, we didn't get paid until we got there.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about your trajectory, your life journey. You were played in the NFL, but now you are a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. When did you what was the tipping point that you made that kind of professional decision that you're going to be a financial advisor?
Yeah, no, that's so for me, I majored in finance and commercial law in college. I know I wanted to work on Wall Street, but I didn't quite know in what capacity. But the tipping point for me was, being in the NFL, which many people know stands for the National Football League, but NFL also has another meaning, which is not for long. Because the average career is about 3.5 years. And so with that being known to me, I figured, hey, I need to leverage this platform to think about what I want to do when football is over. And so the NFL has an internship program. I participated in that and interned at Citigroup Smith Barney so that I could get firsthand experience and knowledge in working on Wall Street. And that's how I learned about the career in wealth management, because I worked with 2 financial advisors as their intern while I was still playing in the NFL. And so, that was the tipping point for me. I decided at that point that, after football was over, that I wanted to then be an advisor to, many of my peers, as well as others in the sports and entertainment space.
What were the early money lessons or mistakes? Well, sometimes lessons can be, or mistakes can turn into a lesson, most shaped how you think about wealth for your life and your work today?
How early you want me to go back, right?
Let's go to the young Walter who's in junior high school. How did your
junior high school? Okay. Yeah. So, I'll take you back a little bit further than that. So I was a paper boy, right, in my neighborhood. I had a job at 11 years old. I worked for the Atlanta Daily World, which is the first Black newspaper in the city of Atlanta. And I had a route that I delivered papers in the neighborhood. So I got paid. And when I got paid, I opened up a bank account at Citizens Trust, which is a Black-owned bank in the city of Atlanta. So at a really young age, I understood, making money, right? And I also understood the act of saving money and putting it into a bank account. So for me, having work at a really young age and having a bank account really kind of set the precedent for me having the financial tools in place to be able to save. right?
Wow.
And also the wherewithal to go out and make money as a paperboy. So that was really helpful at a young age.
What are your thoughts, Walter, in terms of in generically the Black community and where we are in terms of, and what can we do? Let's say there's someone listening that doesn't really have a robust retirement or a savings account. They have a savings account, but not a fully funded savings account. In this current economic climate, actually any economic climate, what should we do now? We didn't start off when we didn't have a paper route, and if we did, we spent every nickel that came in the door. What should someone do right now to hit their reset savings button in their own lives? What can they do? How can they play catch up? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the most important things is to do is take a full financial assessment of where you currently are. That assessment includes pulling your credit reports from all three of the credit bureaus. You also want to look at that will give you an understanding of all of your debts and your liabilities. You want to look at how much you have saved up in your employment retirement account. Look and see if you have any old retirement accounts that you haven't rolled over from previous jobs, right? Take a look at all of your assets, all of your liabilities, and come up with what's called your net worth. And once you determine what your net worth is and have a complete understanding of it, now you need to put together a process in place to grow that net worth, right? And in growing that net worth, you look at what your income is versus your expenses, so money that is coming in versus money that's going out. And one practical thing that you can do is to make sure that first expense is yourself. Right. A lot of times people pay all their bills and then they try to save what's left over. But one practice that you can start, if you haven't already, is to say, you know what, I'm going to put something aside for me for later. And you start off with whatever you can, but start off with 1%. And then once 1% becomes manageable, move up to 3% and then move to 5%, then 10%, and so on and so forth. But having the process of knowing that I'm paying myself first and saving something for the future allows you to build, again, as you say, if you're starting from level ground or if you're trying to catch up.
Let's talk about another economic demographic in our community, Walter, that don't have or don't feel they have enough to save. They don't have an employer that provides a 401k. Or they have an employer that doesn't even have the traditional pension either. What do you say to those people?
Stay with us at Planet White Kids Up. We'll be right back. Stay with us at Planet White Kids Up. We'll be right back.
Well, I say, if 1% is too much, then do 0.5%. If 0.5% is too much, then do 0.25%. Mm-hmm. And then if you're in a position where you feel that saving is not a place where it's attainable, then you need to look at ways to grow your income to make more money. Right. There's several things that you can use to your advantage right now. Google search, using artificial intelligence to search of ways that, how can I, increase my income so that I am in a position to then start to save.
Mm-hmm. Right. We are in that environment where it's going to take leveling up on our skills and not mm-hmm. the kind of skills that maybe we grew up on, that it's a new one, particularly in AI, cybersecurity. Exactly. But the answers, everyone, for example, as Walter just said, use ChatGPT to find out where you can level up on your skills to bring in extra income. So, for example, another example that sometimes people use, that IRS refund check, is their annual windfall. And then maybe on the other hand, there is a college player that has a new NIL contract that has a sudden windfall. Whoever they are, whoever experiences a sudden payout, whether that's inheritance, NIL, bonus, what should they do before spending a dime? the first 3 steps in order?
Step one is to get an understanding of what your net worth is. Look at all your assets versus your liabilities to determine that net worth. Understand your cash flow and how much it costs you to live on a monthly and an annual basis, right? So when you receive this, and when this windfall comes in, you plug that into this equation and decide, hey, do I have some, high interest debt that I could pay off that will then, save me the burden of debt growing by paying that compounding interest on the debt side, right? Because the longer you hold on to debt, the longer you're paying the interest rates on that. So, take care of some debt, clean up your balance sheet. And from there, if you are in a position to then save some, start with if you have retirement offerings from your job, start with like increasing your withdrawals to go into that 401k because it grows tax deferred and it reduces your taxable income. So always start with, qualified accounts. Qualified meaning there's a tax benefit associated with it, right? Either that's a 401k or an individual retirement account. And then from there, you want to save up and make sure you have at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses in liquid or highly liquid securities, meaning cash, or maybe your bank has some sort of high yield savings account, where you can earn interest on something that is highly liquid, meaning you can convert it to cash. And then once you get that in order, then you look at opening up a brokerage account where you can start to invest in things like stocks, bonds, through mutual funds or ETFs, which are exchange traded funds.
Often what I'm hearing from people, no matter where they are on the financial roller coaster sometimes, is pressure from family, from children. Oh, I know you got that tax refund, or you received that windfall, or it's payday. That they feel pressured to not pay themselves first, but to reward or to give others some of the monies that they have, or maybe next to all of it. What do you advise your clients or anyone on how to navigate those pressures to not take care of their own financial security first, but to give their money to others?
Yeah, well, there are lots of pressures that come with being in a position of wealth and affluence and having the ability to give. I think that giving is something that everyone should do, but I think you also should make sure that you're giving responsibly. And giving responsibly means that you're not giving to your own detriment. And how you define that detriment is having a clear understanding of what your own personal financial goals are. At what percentage level are you to reaching and attaining those financial goals? And then from there, how do you implement a giving strategy? In anything that you do, it should be a part of your overall plan. And if you do plan to help out, just make sure that it is included in your plan, right? There's space to give, but you want to make sure that you give responsibly.
Walter, how about no means no, or it's a complete sentence? Do you recommend that strategy?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that people should be forthright and transparent with where they are. And if it is a situation that appears to be abusive, or someone doesn't want to take into account your own personal savings, then a straightforward no may be exactly what's needed for that particular situation.
And of course, I definitely recommend hiring a financial advisor. But could you walk us through a little bit, because people see investing, and what Keza does provide, access to investing, but how one should research any particular company as opposed to the company that you hear about all the time and not recognizing there's over 2,000 companies available to be invested in. What kind of questions should one ask themselves, whether they're going to invest fractional or whole share in a company, or maybe a friend or their nephew's business?
Yeah, I will first say seek professional advice. And I know professional advice isn't universally available to everyone, but do research, right? Look online, do a search. If you're looking for a public company to invest in, and if it is a public company, they have all their reports listed online. You can find them by, Google searching their ticker symbol or the company name, just look for the financials and read through those. But if that's something that you've never done before, always tell people that investing is an end to a mean. And what that means is you want to invest in good companies. So look around at the companies that you're currently spending money on, right? Look at the brands and products in your home that you constantly spend money on and see, hey, is this a company that I could invest in that is a public company? Or that way, if it's your phone service, your phone provider, the actual device that you use, invest in things that you already spend money on. So that way that not only is that something that will grow and appreciate over time, but it almost like reduces the cost of actually owning that product when you own the shares for the company that owns it. Mm-hmm. For example, if you use iPhone, right, you can purchase Apple stock, right? Or if you have your phone service provider, you can invest in that company because you participate as a customer of that company.
Yes, and what I feel that most people also approach investing is as if it is gambling. If you're going to invest in Apple, then it should be from a long-term strategy based upon your research. Your thoughts?
No, absolutely. I don't look at investing as gambling. I look at it as a choice that is made, because gambling is defined by what happens in Las Vegas or what happens at casinos, right? Where you're taking full chance on the outcome of some sort of game. But true investing is participating in through ownership of a public company. Right. And that public company has information out there that you can research on, and you're not just rolling the dice. Right. You're participating as a owner with the hopes to get gain through dividends, interest, and growth of that underlying investment.
Mm-hmm. What troubles you about where we are, our community is regarding this powerful currency called money?
Man, I'm very aware when we talk about our community, and I'm being, fully honest, we're talking about the Black community. Very aware that there is a racial wealth gap that is very pronounced. And yes, it's sad that there is a wealth gap, but I think that one, acknowledgement is key. Two, what are we going to do about it, right? What are we going to do about filling that gap and then building from there, right? What you could do is educate yourself through financial literacy, and not only just educate yourself through financial literacy, but also put into action the things that you're learning. Teach your children about managing their money, how to make money, have a conversation with your children about your expenses within your household, right? How much does it cost to live? I have 3 children of my own, and, we talk about, groceries and, that being one of our family's expenses that we have to support weekly. And as much as they like to eat, I need to make sure that they understand how much that costs. But just having conversations with the children, next gen, when you learn something, teach someone else, each one teach one, having that be the model. The work that you're doing with your podcast is great by, educating the masses and not holding this information back. So that's how we change it, right? We change it by making sure that everyone knows and everyone is aware, and that they're educated on what their personal world of money is, so that they can, make the financial changes they need to grow and build wealth.
As the founder of World of Money, what I've heard from parents, that they feel ill-equipped to inform their children, who I call adorable, cute, economic sociopaths, who don't care about the parents' retirement fund, how do you equip parents to empowering their children when they did not receive that same information?
I would equip them to read, right? Pick up books, read about financial planning, start where they are, look at their financial picture, their financial statements, understand financial terms, look up a financial glossary and equip yourself so that you can then pass that information on to your kids. And if you're not aware, then I just don't think there are no barriers of education and knowledge today, right? Almost everyone has a phone. Almost everyone has access to these resources. So in many cases, there are no excuses. I do know there are some extenuating situations where people are just, with mental health, with, access to things like that. And in those situations, I would hope that there's some sort of nonprofit organization that's providing this information for free. So, to anyone that's listening, just do your part, right? If you're here, you're aware of where knowledge and information is, then, if you see someone in a situation, then do your part to guide and lead them to the knowledge that is, all over the web, all over social media, their television, programs, podcasts, books. I mean, there's so much information out there. You just have to seek it, right?
Absolutely. So in the about a minute that we have left, while time has gone very quickly, give us our call to action. What do we need to do every day for ourselves financially? Give us 3 things we need to do now that we won't feel intimidated about it. Because, everyone announces that they're going to start a diet in January, and by February, they forgot about that. So what can we do that we're going to continue? Walter Stith.
Yeah. So 3 things that you can do. First and foremost, get an understanding of your financial picture. Make a list of your assets, make a list of your liabilities, determine what your net worth is, right? Put together a plan to grow that net worth. 2, you want to make sure to look at your qualified accounts. That's your 401k or any IRAs, or if you have any former jobs that you worked where you have money in a 401k that you did not roll over, get an account for those and put it into a financial plan to determine, how much you need to save for retirement. And 3, seek the advice of a professional. And if you're watching this podcast, share it with your friends so that they can understand that there's a place that they can go to learn about Wikizi, if I'm saying that correctly, which is Wakeza, which is saving and investing in Swahili, which I love. So thanks so much for having me on the podcast. Hopefully the information was helpful. The time did go by really quickly.
Yes.
But as they say, time flies when you're having fun. So.
Well, how can our listeners reach you?
So I'm on most social platforms, but I'm Walter Stith, Stith. You can reach me on LinkedIn or through a direct connection on my website, which you can Google. Any Google search, you can find a link to my business page. But I'm on all social media platforms as well.
Walter Stith, financial advisor, Morgan Stanley. Thank you so much for joining us here on Planet Wakiza.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us on Planet Wakiza, where inside shines so bright. Grateful for your company from morning till night. Your journey in money, business, and investing has just taken flight. You're part of our family and empowerment we unite. On Planet Wakiza, where your financial dreams ignite. With the Wakiza.com nation, together our futures are bright.